Do y'all ever have any self-evaluate? Like, how do y'all self-evaluate?
My wife does that for me.
There you go. Exactly. You beat me to it.
One of the beauties about being married, I don't have
That's
to
right.
self-evaluate at all. She tells me.
That's
Kind of
right.
outsource. Yeah,
What I need to
outsource
work.
that responsibility.
I mean,
That's
Wives are good at
hilarious.
that, aren't they?
We are Saints in the South, your source for gospel growth and good times. All right. Welcome, everybody. Another episode of Saints in the South. And today we are going to take another quick look at the handbook. And this time, Mr. Kenny, the professor, has it for us today.
All right. So our quick look at the handbook this go around is section 4.2.8, evaluating your efforts. And this is under the section of leadership and counsels. And as with many things in my life, I have to give credit to my wife for this, because she was, she is currently the Stake Relief Society president, and she was looking through the handbook and just trying to, get an idea of things, that she might need to familiarize herself with as a Stake Relief Society president, and came across this, and it's really, I really like this. It's really profound. So I'm just going to read, it's really short little section. It just says the advice is to regularly review your responsibilities and spiritual growth as a leader. Consider also the growth of those you lead. Unit, priesthood, quorum, and other organizational leaders can review the key indicators, the quarterly report, and other reports in leader and clerk resources to see where there is progress and where there's potential for growth. And here's the good part that I highlighted. Your success as a leader is measured primarily by your commitment to helping God's children become faithful disciples of Jesus Christ. Because all people have agency, some may choose to depart from the covenant path. At times, this may discourage you, but as you turn to the Lord, he will lift and comfort you. You can know that the Lord is pleased with your efforts as you feel the Spirit working through you. And I really, man, it just... it really made me feel great to know that this it really felt inspired. I mean, of course, all of the handbook I feel like is, there's inspiration behind this, but this paragraph I felt like is really relevant for those of us who tend to doubt ourselves or tend to question ourselves. Especially when we are in positions of leadership in the church, and, we might feel a responsibility and we do have a responsibility for those, that we serve. However, this is really good encouragement to know that all people, it's just a little reminder that all people have agency. Yeah. And if things don't go according to plan, if you're trying to minister to, some maybe a less active family and things don't go well, and you're really, really hoping that, they're going to come around and things are going to work for the best, but it doesn't, then, sometimes you have to kind of take a step back and remember that as long as you're doing the best that you can, if you are remaining close to the Lord in your life and honoring him in everything that you do, and doing your best to serve those that you have responsibility for, that's all that you can do. And the Lord is pleased with your efforts, regardless of what other people's choices are, because other people do have their agency. Mm-hmm. Just like I know we've talked about, as we went through the Old Testament, all of us are parents, we talked about how no matter how well you teach your children have agency, and they might not always do the things that you would hope for them to do. And they might always live their life in a way that reflects how they were raised. But I'm reminded of the fact that our Heavenly Father is the perfect Father, the absolute perfect Father in the universe. And a third of his children chose to rebel. So
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that, that evaluating your efforts.
Yeah.
There, and the kind of the self-evaluating.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that so in seminary, you've got the learning assessments that they do.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, they've always been kind of really test oriented, right? Test and knowledge base.
Yeah,
they've changed that starting this year.
Okay.
It's a self-evaluation. You are literally doing a self-evaluation of, and it goes down different questions, but it's not set up like a testing your knowledge of the scriptures,
Huh.
but it's set up to do a self-evaluation of how you are doing with studying the scriptures, with following the promptings of the Spirit, with attending church, or your understanding of doctrinal mastery, passages and things like that, which I thought was pretty cool, pretty interesting. So I know
cool.
there's and from what I've seen and heard and listened to, there's always a lot of negative feedback on the learning assessments, because it always felt like a test, and they always got pretty discouraged with that. So
That makes sense.
Do y'all ever have any self-evaluate? Like, how do y'all self-evaluate?
My wife does that for me.
There you go. Exactly. You beat me to it.
One of the beauties about being married, I don't have
That's
to
right.
self-evaluate at all. She tells me.
It's kind of outsourced. Yeah,
what I need to
outsource
work.
that responsibility.
I mean,
That's
wives are good at
hilarious.
that, aren't they?
That's classic.
Yeah, wives will you point out your wait, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Areas where there is potential for growth.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. No, honestly, it's I think it's almost like a prompting by the Spirit. I don't have like a day set aside,
Right.
I don't take 5 minutes every day to probably a good idea. I should, but things will come up and go, you know what? I could probably do better at that. I probably need to stop doing that, or I need to start doing that. Things come up, and it's just, and with anything, I mean, even eating, like I'll, certain things that I eat, and I go, you know what, that can't be very good for me. I need to maybe hold off on some of that. I mean, just any little thing like that. But yeah, it's physical, mental, spiritual, intellectual, all those things we cover. But yeah, there's self-evaluation that goes on all the time. It seems like the question is, will we heed our self-evaluation?
That's right. That's right. Exactly. That's right.
Yeah, that's the question.
But we're not perfect, but we do, obviously, hopefully we're trying. Yeah. We're striving.
Ask in prayer, what lack I yet?
That's exactly right. Yep.
And you will receive an answer.
That's right.
So one of the things that I do, and it's mostly associated with my interactions with my family, as a father, as a husband, and everything. And I've mentioned it 1,000 times on here. People probably get tired of hearing it, but I journal, right? So I write, and I will take in situations, in the way I've handled situations, and I will write about it, and I will write down what I did, what I did good, okay, and what I did bad, and how I can improve on that. And so I'm really able to really kind of dive in to try and improve, my parenting capabilities, or my husband responsibilities, and things like that. And I've applied that to other areas as well, but that's kind of where I mainly use it.
What worked, what didn't work, things like that.
That's right. Yeah. Exactly.
It's a great resource. Yourself is a great resource. Your own personal experiences are a great resource. I mean, everything we learn from is from some kind of an experience of somebody, whether it's the scriptures or general conference or something, but yeah, if we've experienced those things, it's good to write down what happened, what goes on, and we can learn from that, because it's more than likely going to happen again in our life. I'm sure something or to someone very close to us that's going through that, we can revert back and look back on what worked for us.
Right.
Sometimes it even means more. It should mean more, because it's more personal. And I may deal with things differently than Captain Moroni did, obviously. We're pretty similar, though. I mean, very similar. If you were to list us, if you just did a list, write down, Marcus Corbett, Captain Moroni.
Got Marcus.
I mean,
that's right. Exactly.
It's right there, man. Honestly, if it didn't have the name at the top, you wouldn't know which one you were talking about.
That's right. Yeah. We see
self-evaluation, humility. Too high.
This guy in the background, you see him. That's who I mostly associate with.
Yeah.
Superman back there.
I got you.
The journaling is excellent. I counsel in my job people to journal all the time. I strongly encourage journaling. If anyone has a desire to journal, especially because some people are not as good at it, that's one of those things that I know the benefits of journaling, but I've tried to do it so many times, and I've bought new journals and said, I'm going to start doing it. And I'll I'll do good for a little while, and I kind of miss a day here and there, and then the next thing I know, 6 months have gone by, and I'll go, whatever happened to me journaling? And so I'm terrible at journaling, but it really is. There's lots of reasons why journaling is excellent. It is an opportunity for self-reflection and self, kind of rating your own progress. You can kind of give yourself that chance to see what you've been doing well, and what where you have areas for growth. And it's also when you write down the things that you felt, especially when you journal about emotions and things, it is it's a form of processing. So it's almost like a kind of, I think of it as a kind of self-therapy, because when you talk to a therapist, one of the things that you're doing is processing. You're taking all these complex emotions and complex things going in your mind, and you're forcing your brain to kind of organize it into where you can put it into words. And whether you're doing that through spoken word or written word, it has the same effect. It forces your brain to take all of these complex thoughts and emotions and kind of concretize it and organize it in such a way that you're able to put it into words. And when you do that, it helps you understand yourself a little bit better.
Right. We need to bring back scribes. I think I'd be a way better journal person if I had my own scribe. It's like, hey, write this down real quick.
I think you probably could have a scribe if you have enough money.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm sure Elon Musk and people like that, they don't have to worry about that. They probably have somebody just following them around all day. Like, hey, write this down. I got an idea.
Yeah. Probably. You're probably
take this down.
Well, very good. Very good. Anything else on that subject?
No, that's pretty much all I had. It wasn't a lot of in-depth, but it was a quick look. That to me was really profound, and I felt like it was definitely worth mentioning.
I like it. Very good. Until next time, y'all, keep on striving.